Hello, I'm Gail Wolf, and I am here to do some channeling. Um, what I'm told is, and what I'm being told right now. Tuning in. Thank you for listening to these messages. What are quantum energies that are being through does not abide by the rules of time. This message will remain true and accurate, regardless of when you hear this. There have been many changes in the consciousness upon your planet. There have been many shifts that have occurred in the last number of months, more particularly. It's been speeding up ever since it stabilized a number of years ago after 2012. Consciousness has been moving along, and it is now to a point where you are noticing sovereignty is taking a new path. You see, consciousness in the old energy seemed to be all about sovereignty, and in truth, it was about separation. Sovereignty of spirit is this sovereignty of speaking your truth and speaking your God self truth, which is different than speaking your ideas about yourself. You see the God's, your spirit self, your higher self, your divine nature. There are so many names for it. Whatever that name is for you, that part of you is far different than what you identify with on a daily basis. To what you sense about another. It is more akin to what you sense. The majority of the feelings that you feel are associated with your ego and the stories that your ego has created. Your thoughts are magnetic. Your about become interpreted into story of feelings that become formed around these interpretations. Those feelings are stored within the cells of your bodies. As you have been becoming lighter and becoming more aware, more of these challenging feelings, stories, and ideas about yourselves and what you have experienced in the past have been coming forward in ways that are not so comfortable. What this has done is it has created judgment between yourself and those that you consider to be other, that is, those who you have had or are currently in relationships with. There has been a very popular belief, a very popular notion, and a popular idea of the way healing happens. We are here to bring forward a new message that is sure to be a bit controversial. You see, in the past, it was very popular and very common to cut the people in which you were having conflict with. This was an idea and a notion in order to create an idea of sovereignty or a sense of separateness to where you would no longer be partaking in the negative energies that were present in your relationship, so you could have a moment of peace and or silence into your truth in order to find your identity within a challenging situation. We are here to tell you that this process, while at the time was accurate and necessary for most, it is no longer needed. This is a quantum time. Therefore, the entanglements that you have are all becoming more and more divine. The energies that are here and present upon the earth are helping you to move beyond the need to have separateness. You see, the time is now for togetherness. The time is now to be one with your brothers and sisters, especially those in which you are having challenges forgiving or being forgiven by. This being the case is wise, it is good, and we are advising for you to keep the cords in place. If there is we are asking you to be patient. We are asking you to be in person. Take space, if however cords to be. rather than cutting and actively create forgiveness in your being. Become engaged in any form of a relationship, and then that relationship begins to become tumultuous. You begin to have challenges. What is happening? And what this does is it's never really separate. You have these threads in place. By allowing them to remain, they enable the potentials to exist for healing. In the past, forgiveness had more to do with your own thoughts about the person, while the other person could that are not. It is you have these threads that exist between two beings who disagree about something, who have challenging feelings, challenging thoughts, challenging emotions. They negative thoughts to each other through these threads. What this does is it affects the thinking. It affects the self-perceptions. When this happens, it is more challenging to believe good things about yourself. Therefore, leave the threads in place. Ask for assistance where someone can come in, an entity, a being, an angel, or your higher self, whatever this is for you, to affect the threads that are in place. When the threads are there, and when they are allowed to be touched by spirit, when they are allowed to be touched by source, both beings resonate at a frequency of forgiveness. All it takes is one to wish for its own forgiveness, and thus the forgiveness of the other. However, given the true nature of the way things are, this entity is also forgiving it. You see, that which this entity does not entity is true about this entity. That is to say, whatever you do not like about someone else is exactly what you do not like about yourself. And so, by staying engaged, when you send the forgiveness to the self entity, this other separate entity will receive it. This entity will begin to have different thoughts about its self. This entity will in turn begin to forgive itself. As this entity begins to forgive itself, it also forgives this entity. Therefore, by one entity forgiving itself and the other automatically forgives itself and the other as well. Consider for a moment how many times you have entered into a relationship. You see, you came to